Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and this one I am particularly excited about because today Barnstormer BMW in Alton have lent me the M1000R, the 2025 M1000R, and I can tell you right now, M stands for absolutely mental. This is their 1000cc hyper naked kind of top of the range, and I say kind of top of the range because the white paint is a price. It's like £20,000 here in the UK. I think it's 19,900. And if you get the black carbon, it goes up considerably. So I guess you would call that the top of the range, but under it, it's kind of the same bike. Although the carbon probably weighs a little bit less. This is a 1000cc, 200 horsepower, less than 200 kilos, hyper naked, and it's insane, and I love it, and I already want one. So I've brought it back from Alton down to where I normally do my test rides. This is their demo model. If you speak to the guys at Barnstormer Alton, they will let you take this one out on demo. They've got a couple in the showroom already. They are 19,900 stock. And I say 19,900 stock because there are extras that you can buy. You can buy the carbon bits to add on, and you can buy little bits and bobs here and there. But actually, for the most part, this has got so much kit on it already. So if you buy the standard S1000, it is significantly cheaper. But if you want to add the comfort pack for keyless and all that kind of stuff and heated grips, that costs you a few £1,000s extra. If you want to buy the dynamic pack for the adjustable suspension and for the different sort of riding, the extra dynamic riding modes and the quick shifter, that costs a few £1,000s extra. And if you want to buy the acro exhaust, that comes £1,000 extra, and etc, etc, etc. You don't get those options on this because they just come with it as standard. So we already have quick shifter up and down. We have heated grips. We have the dynamic pack, so the dynamic pro riding mode. We've got the keyless go. We've got the acro exhaust. It's a monster. Bar end mirrors, and I think it's utterly beautiful. Utterly, utterly beautiful. This is possibly my favourite bike of all time at the moment. But we're going to take it on our normal demo route. I'm about to go stick some fuel in it. We'll take it on our demo route. We'll do our normal test. A bit of a warning. It has recently rained here today, so it might be a bit slippy in places. But let's see what this thing can do. Is 200 horsepower on a less than 200 kilo bike too much for our roads? It's an interesting question. So let's jump on board. Now, like I've said to you already, oh, by the way, there's a number plate. If you want to go for insurance quotes, if you think about buying an M model, I would strongly advise you look at insurance quotes because it's quite expensive. So throwing the leg over this thing, I actually find it relatively comfortable in the seating position. I can flat foot it with a slight blend in my leg. It's keyless, so we press that button. It's on. It fires up. Make life a ride. I love it. Big M logo. And we're in. Ignition on. She hums into life. They do cold start quite loud, but this isn't that cold, so we didn't have a cold start on this one. What's going on here? My fingers feel weird. My glove's being strange. Hang on. Oh, there we are. Got my fingernail caught something. There we go. We're better. Right, we'll go get some fuel in this beast, and then we're off.
Okay, it's pretty rare for me to jump in right now and do this. I'm sorry. First of all, if you haven't already, please make sure you hit those magical YouTube buttons for us. Hit that like, subscribe stuff. That's really helpful. We're trying to grow the channel to 500, then 1,000, and then 10,000 and a million subs, and that would be great. What's interesting when I did this review is there was something I didn't know, and I need to tell you quite quickly now. I talk about it being 200 horsepower, 210 horsepower, a 200 horsepower beast at less than 200 kilos. That's important, but what's also important is this particular model, the demo model, has not yet had its first service by BMW. And what that means is for this particular review, it's restricted to around 8,500 revs. When this bike has its first service done, they do some things. They change the oil, so it goes from a more viscous to a less viscous oil. And then they lift the restrictor, and it goes from 8,500 to 14,500-ish revs by the looks of it. That's important to keep in mind for this review because I get very excited about how powerful it feels and how fast it is, and yet I have nowhere near full power on this bike. I want to let you know before we crack on with the review. So back over to riding, Liam, right now.
So we're now on board the M1000R, and M, like I said already in the intro, stands for utterly mental. So this is the same inline 4 1000cc or 998 I think it is, or 999cc engine that you find in the S1000R, the S1000R, and the M1000R. The difference is they tune it differently, and there's other little bits and bobs. Like I've said to you a million times before, and I'll say to you again, This is not the channel for technical data and statistics and numbers and facts and figures. I'm going to tell you how it feels, how it fits, how it works in the real world, whether it's comfortable, all that kind of stuff, the stuff that I care about, the stuff that I've watched so many motorcycle reviews, and they'll tell me about peak torque at this RPM and blah 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 blah. I'm like, I don't know what that means though. Tell me what it means. Tell me what it means to a middle-aged man who's going through a bit of a crisis and wants to ride fast bikes around. Like, tell me what that stuff actually translates to on the real world, and we'll try and give you that information today. This is incredibly excitable, and it gets your heart rate going in a very good way. It is obviously a naked bike. It's not a faired bike, it's not a sports bike, it's a naked bike, a hyper naked if you will. And it is fucking incredible. I'm already absolutely in love with it. I've got maybe 1 or 2 niggles, okay? But we'll get to that. This might be my new favourite thing in the world, if I'm being honest. Like I've said to you already, big shout out to Barnstormer for letting me borrow this. I will put their link in the video description below. You guys can check them out. They are an incredibly friendly bunch. It's about 40 minutes for me to get there, but it's worth it because they're so good and so helpful and so useful. So big shout out to Barnstormer for lending me this bike, the M1000R. I shall go and talk to my sales guy Chris after this with a massive grin on my face. So I've shown you already where the feet sit when you're on the floor, slightly bent position. As for nakeds, most of what I've ridden in the past, the Triumphs, the Yamahas, and some of the others that I've sat on, I haven't ridden them so far yet, with channels young and new, you're quite upright. You're quite an upright position. And then I've sat on some sports bikes, and I've ridden only the GP, which is not a true sports bike, but I have ridden the GP, and they're sort of more lean forward and on clip-ons. And then you have this, and I feel like the best way to describe the S1000 and the M1000R at the moment is they sit in between the two. So they're not fully upright. I am leant over, but I'm not sports bike leant over. It's insane, honestly. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's insane. So, I am more on my wrists than I would normally be, but I have got a flat bar. It's not clip-ons, so I'm not sort of tucked in here. So I have got the flat bar leverage that you get from a naked bike. I obviously don't get the wind protection that you would get from a faired bike. The wind's hitting me, but I'm over 6 foot tall. And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine recently, and I find that little fairings and fairings in general, when I am 6 foot, just tends to send the wind into my face. It actually typically gets a bit uncomfortable. I'm not massively happy with wind just smashing me in the face the whole time. So I actually personally prefer naked bikes, even at motorway speeds, and you get this wind cushion that hits you in the chest and holds you up and takes some of the weight off your wrists. So this slightly forward position in fast conditions is not that bad, because it sort of, your body almost acts like a parachute, right? And it kind of holds you up a little bit. So that's all right, it's not too bad. Legs, however, are very tucked up compared to what I'm used to. Even compared to nakeds, they're quite tucked up. They're not quite fully sports bike tucked up, but I don't actually feel like I could tuck them up much more. So they're very tucked up. So legs are much more sport bikey. I thought I'd be more uncomfortable. Actually, I'm not. I was worried about sports bikes for ages for how uncomfortable my legs would be, because I've got big, lanky, long legs as a 6'1" man with a knee problem from being in the army, and actually it's quite comfortable for me personally. I don't mind it too much. Obviously you get the tank cutouts, you grip the tank with your legs, hold the tank here, and you get quite a nice response. It's very agile, it wants to go where you want to point it, as a lot of these nakeds do. This one is aggressively keen, I think is probably the best way I could word this for handling. Slightly less confidence inspiring than the MT-09 for me, only because the aggressive acceleration on this. But you know, in terms of rider position, I think I could do a few hours in this and be quite comfortable, and then I'd want to have a stop. But you're talking about 100 to 150 miles out of a tank anyway, roughly, I think, if you ride it spiritedly. So I don't actually think that's that much of a problem. Like, I feel like you're going to want to break after a couple of hours for fuel anyway, so you might as well stretch your legs, have a drink, eat a chocolate bar, be happy, you know, use the bathroom. So it's not that much of a problem. In terms of the bar width, I like the bar width. I feel like I'm quite in control. I typically hold towards the end of the bars anyway, which is fine. So it's comfortable, right? In my opinion, it's comfortable. The only issue I'm finding is, at the moment, nothing at all. But at higher speeds, you can get quite a lot of vibrations, or higher revs I should say. You can get quite a lot of vibrations through these handlebars, and in fact at sort of 50, 60, 70 miles an hour the mirrors can become borderline unusable. So if I can show you guys that later, but they vibe a lot. So at the moment they look pretty rock solid and steady. They do vibe a little bit at the upper end, and it makes them hard to see out of, and I wonder if you can solve that with a little bit of weight added to the bar ends or something like that. I'm sure there's probably some solutions out there. This obviously has a steering damper, but it doesn't really do a lot to save some of those vibrations, and it's the only thing that I think I've found so far that I would consider a slight discomfort. I'm also, however, very conscious of the fact that I am in fact clinging on for dear life. So it's possible that it's less the vibrations, and it's more, well, it must be the vibrations, I don't know. It's possible it's less the vibrations and more me just being terrified of this thing because it is fast. So as I said to you already, right, it's their 999cc inline 4 engine, and because it's the M model, it's tuned to 200 horsepower, which is insane. So the S1000R, the 2025 S1000R is tuned to 170 horsepower. This gains 30 more horsepower on that bike, and it weighs 197 kilos or something, I don't know. And all of this for less than 20,000, which I know is a lot for a lot of people when you can buy a Honda Hornet SP, the 1000 SP, which is incredible bargain. I think that's now over 10,000. I think it's just gone over 10,000. I think they've just increased the price by a few hundred quid. But you can buy that for essentially 10,000, and then this is 20,000. It's double the price of a Honda Hornet SP. I'd have this. I would. If you can fork out the extra at the moment, I'd have this. So, you know, it's insane levels of fun, and I love it. And when we do the walk around later, the proper walk around, I think it's stunning. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think it's one of the nicest looking naked bikes on the market personally, and it will draw some hate, that, because I know there is a significant number of people that just default to the Street Fighter V4 as the nicest. I don't know, for me, I don't know. Look at the handling though. It's insanely good, this chat. It's insanely good. And the handling is so planted, it just goes where you want it to go. The difficulty with this one is where the power band sits. So because of what it is, because of the engine, because it's an inline 4, because it's 1000cc, where the power sits is slightly higher up in the rev range. So powering out of corners can be more difficult if you're in the wrong gear, which is not necessarily a bad thing because you might not overshoot or get too excited and fire yourself out too fast. But handling is beautiful. So it can be slightly sluggish coming out of corners if you're in the wrong gear. If you're in too high a gear, it could be slightly sluggish. And I've got to get used to coming down through the gears and going into second and third, for example, for certain bends. But the MT-09 for certain, and the MT-10 to a point, felt a little bit more forgiving, a little bit less kind of, you need to be on point all the time. This one feels like you need to be on point a lot more. But the riding position, I feel like, as well as just the whole setup, I think, makes the handling on this one better than those bikes personally. But it has a wondrous potential, this bike, to leave you licenseless, because it is unreal the speeds that this thing can accelerate. I kind of want one. I'm not gonna lie, although I'm conscious of the fact at the moment I've got on almost every bike and said I kind of want one. I think the only time that wasn't true was the XSR 900 GP, just because I didn't like the clip-ons and the fairing, and the styling. It was beautiful, but not really for me. But yeah, this thing is, I'm in love. It's amazing. Now we do have the stock header pipes on this bike with the servo valve that's fitted to most modern day motorcycles, and then the Acro BMW end can, which means this is fully road legal, which means it's not the loudest in the world. I'm a little bit, after owning the Harley for so long, I'm a little bit over super loud exhausts. I want it a bit louder, but I'm over super loud exhausts because it just batters your ears and deafens you, and people hate you and your neighbours hate you. But it sounds nice. I like the sound when the baffle opens up, the servo opens up and allows proper airflow through at higher RPMs. I love the way it sounds. At lower RPMs it's quieter. I'm told as well, but the servo valve closing at lower RPMs, it also means that it gives you a little extra back pressure, which means at lower revs you get a better torque response. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if I'm ever going to feel that personally, but hey. Now, as I said to you guys already, this thing comes with a ton of kit as standard because it is in fact the M model. So if you look on the S1000 configurator and you read what's in the dynamic and comfort pack on the S1000 configurator, that stuff all comes as standard. So you've got heated grips, you've got up and down quick shifter, you've got dynamic pro mode, you've got there's other I don't know what half this stuff. Keyless is part of it. There's a bunch of things that exist as part. A tyre pressure monitoring system is part of it. There's a couple other bits I think I'm missing right now. That all comes as standard on this bike. So when you look at the 19,900 price tag and compare it to the S1000, it would seem at least that the S1000 is much better value. When you realise that this gets all the kit that you might want to add to that one anyway, so by the time you've spec'd an S1000 with that extra dynamic and comfort pack, you're probably looking at 16 to 17,000, and then it's only a couple more thousand for this, for the M pack, and you get extra bits and bobs as well as part of the M pack. I think it's worth it, I do. I don't actually see the price being that much of a jump from the S to the M when you consider what comes as standard. You also get these bar end mirrors as standard. The quick shifter is utterly beautiful. There was one moment, however, where I did try and change from 4th to 5th under acceleration. I feel like the gear didn't quite go in properly and it nearly threw me off the front of the bike, and then it went in and it was a bit weird. And I don't know if it just was not me kicking it hard enough and engaging it properly. It might have been a me mistake, probably rider error, let's be honest. But the quick shifter otherwise is very smooth. And for 2025, BMW have installed these new M throttles. So to get full throttle, you don't need to turn it anywhere near as much. So that isn't full, that's full throttle. That's it. So there, full throttle. That's all you've got. Which I love, I do love, but it takes some getting used to. Because full throttle on this is not a large twist. And you can hear a little bit of that engine noise and that exhaust roar when the valve opens when I am full throttling it. So yeah, the front here is, I like it. The TFT display is very, very nice. It's quite pretty. I used to hate the concept of the scroll wheel for BMW systems and to navigate its menu. Now I'm getting used to it. I actually don't hate it. I don't think it's the best. Up, down, left, right and an enter button is probably better and easier to understand when you're riding along. But this is a BMW thing. They have it on most of their bikes, and now I'm getting used to it. I think it's cool. The TFT is clear. You do get different views and displays that you can put on, so you can showcase sport mode, where it gives you lean angle and all that kind of stuff. And if you get the M1000, you've got like lap timing and all that kind of lap tracking, GPS or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is. Possibly something I might want to use in the future if I want to go on a track, but you're not going to use that for normal roads. But this quick shifter is a real plus point for me, so I just haven't really been using the clutch for most of today, because up and down quick shifter, and it will go down under acceleration as well, so if you're throttle on and you want to kick down, it will let you do that. And it's just, apart from that one issue I had, it's just very, very smooth. It's very smooth as a quick shifter, so I'm a big fan of the quick shifter. It's one of those things I think I've said before that I didn't have on Harleys, and I wish I did, because it's so fucking good. And it's so easy to use, and obviously part of what you also get is part of this comfort pack that we don't get, because you don't get to add a comfort pack, you get a standard, you do get cruise control. So if you are slightly uncomfortable on the wrists, if you are feeling vibrations and you're sat on like a motorway, you can obviously engage cruise control, which we'll be using later, and that takes some of the pressure off your wrists. Now I've got to say also that, as always in all of my first ride reviews, the bike is set up from the showroom. It is their demo model set up as their demo model. I did look in the settings and there is a digital option to change suspension from single to two-person riding, but for the most part this bike is just set up from the demo showroom, as a demo showroom. I haven't tweaked any of the suspension settings, despite the fact they're semi-active, so they do that all themselves. And you can see some of the cables going into the top of that semi-active suspension, so it's doing a nice job, I'll be honest, of the bumps. It reacts quite nicely. I do have the bike in dynamic roads. We have got rider modes. We've got dynamic, we've got sport or road. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's road, dynamic road and rain. I could see me using rain on this bike, honestly, because it's such a leery bastard that if it was pissing down, I do think I might consider putting it in rain mode to really mute that throttle response. But otherwise, I feel like, as I've said before, I would just live in Dynamic or Dynamic Pro. Dynamic Pro gives you a lot more options for editing the way in which the rider aids, or the aggressiveness in which the rider aids interfere with your ride, right? So you can play around with things like wheelie control and traction control and what have you, and you can increase or decrease the way in which they intervene. So it might be that for most people, you put it on Dynamic Pro, you tweak the settings to something you're happy with, and that's what you end up leaving it in for the ownership of the bike. Unless, of course, it rains, like I say, and then I do genuinely believe that this has a reason to have a rain mode, because it is such a leery beast otherwise. I'm just not using the clutch as well, by the way. It's so nice. Anyway, I think, for the most part, you know, the bike essentially is an S1000R with slightly more horsepower and kit that's fitted as standard rather than being an optional extra. Otherwise, it's not really that different. The riding position feels quite similar, the handling feels quite similar, the bike looks similar, the TFT is the same, lots of the kind of DNA of it is similar. You just get that extra horsepower out of the engine. However, I'm about to show you my favourite part of this bike. It's hovercraft racing. Isn't that cool? So you might not get to hear me properly because it's hovercraft racing, but hey, we'll see. So my favourite part of the BMW M1000R, chat, the way it looks. That livery is utterly incredible. I'm a huge fan. You can get it in a grey version as well, and you can get a carbon blacked out version. But for me, I prefer the white, I think. It's my favourite. I utterly love it. And a big difference to the S1000, obviously, is these winglets, which I'm told these winglets do increase downforce at certain speeds that I'll probably never be doing. You get some other distinct little differences. An M badge there instead of an S badge. An M badge there instead of an S badge. You get your M levers, obviously, which, I mean, look at it. Look at that thing. Sorry about the noise for the hovercrafts. I didn't know they were here today. I normally park down here and all this bit's empty, and as you can tell, it's absolutely full. So you've got, I think it's 320mm front discs. I don't know if they're Brembo actually or not. I think they're Nissan front brake calipers. And then you've obviously got the single rear, which I think is Brembo. It is Brembo, yeah. You've got your electronically semi-adjustable suspension, which is there. You've got your steering damper that sits under here. But mostly, like I say, I just want to look at that livery, which is incredible. Now you've obviously got the 999cc inline 4 engine from the S1000, the S1000R. It's such a machine. It's such an incredible engine. You get the tails on these from the factory aren't too bad, you know. They're not the worst. I've seen worse. I could leave that on for a while and be happy. You've got the acro end can that BMW sell. It's still pretty big. It's still pretty ugly. It sounds okay. Again, because of things like the valve, it doesn't sound all that loud because of the servo valve. You've got your standard quick shifter. You've got this beautiful like metal frame that sits there. I'd probably end up seeing if I can get rid of this and take off the pillion pegs. I love it. I'm a huge, huge fan. I will try an exhaust note. It's hard with hovercrafts screaming around. There you go. We actually got one for you. Okay. Now what you do have is you have this cool menu system for BMW. Oh, by the way, I U-turned it to get here. It was really easy. So you've got this cool menu system. So you can press the up button to change what's shown up there, and you can switch between fuel gauge, etc. You've got like mileage, trip computer, trip 2, miles to gallon, trip 1, trip 2. I don't know what the timer's for. I don't know what that timer's for. I don't know why there's a coffee cup. I'm not sure what there's a coffee cup on there. Service maybe. Is it starting to rain or is it just shit? Hope that's just shit. Average miles an hour, trip 1, trip 2. Tyre pressure back to the fuel range. I like fuel range. You've got your DTC, which I think is your suspension control. Left and right indicators, pretty typical. Very, very positive action though. Very click in. You feel like you're clicking it. You've got your horn. You've got your traction control here, and then you've got your menu system. So you can press down on the menu, and you go into the actual menu and go across to sport. And you use this wheel to go left and right, and then you go down into the sport menu, for example, and you can choose different menus that show you different levels of suspension and your speed. And so I really like it. I think it's really, really cool. Lap timings, etc. You've got your lean angle in the middle there, so 28, 25 max lean angle, left and right. You've got your brake pressure on that one. I think it's really cool. I'm a big fan of this, but I won't leave it in this one for now. We'll go back up. You've got navigation. I've connected my phone so I can show you guys navigation later possibly. You do have media I haven't got connected, and you've got your settings option. You can go for the different settings. For the most part, you've also got my vehicle, which gives you all of your vehicle statistics, engine temperature, range, fuel, battery pressures, etc. Right, super cool, into it, love that kind of information. And then you get your standard menu right here, which I'm a big fan of as well. On this side, you've got a mode button, so you can change between dynamic, race, rain, road. I didn't realise it was a race mode. That's dangerous. You've got your heat grips here, which is a 3, 2, 1, and then off. I think 3 being the hottest, if I remember rightly. The levers are adjustable. Is this rain? It's not rain, is it? This is just shit coming out the sky. Yeah, it's just shit. Okay, good, it's not rain. I think that covers most of it. Ergonomics, quite nice. Big fan. Let's get out of the way of these noisy fucking... these noisy fucking... hovercrafts. Hovercraft racing. Sounds like fun, right? It sounds like fun. I kind of want to put it in race. Now, personally, I thought that the most difficult thing to live with on this bike would be the leg position. And then secondly, I was going to say with probably the wrists. Legs are actually fine. Wrists maybe a bit worse than legs for me, but not that much of a drama. Like, quite comfortable overall. The most uncomfortable part about this bike is keeping it within the speed limit. I'm being honest here. I don't like to go too mental on reviews, especially first ride reviews, I happen to be putting on YouTube, because it doesn't make sense. That would be pretty stupid. But keeping this within the speed limit is proving a challenge, because it's mad. Yeah, it's insane acceleration, and it eggs you on with that M action throttle to just go. And it's a good mad, it's a fun mad, it's a slightly terrifying mad, but it's a hard to keep under the speed limit mad. So there's many reasons there why the M badge is accurate. It's a challenge, and I fear that there's going to be much blurry speedo just in case, for no reason other than just in case, you know? Just in case that happens. Now, this also comes with a couple of other useful things that I quite like about it. So the self-cancelling indicators, which you can turn on and off, actually seem to work, which is quite nice compared to the 09. Although I was told a little trick about the 09, that if you soft press it, you only get 3 flashes, and it's like when you soft press an indicator in a car. I didn't know that, and I've not used that yet, so I need to play around with that at some point. And I've got the XSR 900 soon, so it's got the same indicator. I'll have a bit of a play with it. So it has got self-cancelling indicators, which is a nice bonus. What else? There's a couple of other things I was going to tell you about as well, and I've completely forgotten what they were now because I got distracted about indicators. Indicators is a big thing for me, by the way. Indicators is a big thing for me. Oh, hill control assist. I have no idea how this thing works. It just seems to sense that it's on a hill and engage hill control, and it doesn't let you roll away. So you can let off the brakes altogether on hill control, and it won't go anywhere. And I don't. When I had my Street Glide, the Harley Davidson, you would be able to engage hill hold assist by holding the foot brake down and pushing it past like a little limit, and you'd feel it engage and a little light would come on. This just seems to do it, and I don't know how. I don't know how it knows. I mean, I guess it's the 6-axis IMU, but otherwise I don't know how it knows. I don't know how it knows. How does it know, team? Tell me! But yeah, the hill hold assist, I actually really like the hill hold assist. It's a proper nice feature to have, despite the fact I was like, yeah, cool, I don't really use it. Didn't really use it on the Harley, and it's engaged about 3 times today so far without me knowing about it. I'm like, oh, actually this is quite nice. Because you don't have to worry about it, it just does it itself, and then all you have to do is give it enough revs on your throttle to allow it to override the hill hold assist, and off you go. And I'm a big fan of it, actually, and I didn't think I'd care, but I do care, and I like it, and there you go. Oh, get away from... Don't want horse shit all over this shiny bike. I say shiny bike. BMW are a bit nervous because it's a bit dirty and they haven't had it washed for a while. And I was like, meh, who cares? It'll be fine. And he gave it a little bit of a wipe down so that the white was a bit whiter. I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. Bikes get dirty, it's a thing. We'll not take it to a show. Don't worry about it. Is that broken? Is that an accident? Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. So we're going to go into Bewley. Now, this bike doesn't really suit Bewley as a village. It suits the Motor Museum, but it doesn't suit Bewley as a village, because where Bewley is a quaint, little quiet forest village with with people that like afternoon tea. This is a Larry Asbo that wants to rip your face off. The one thing I will say about this bike is I do think at the moment, for me, this is a bit of a do-everything bike with a caveat. That caveat being, it does slow speed. Look, it does it. And I'm comfortable. I'm a little bit less comfortable than perhaps the MT10 or the 09. Definitely slightly less comfortable than, say, for example, the Harley Davidson Fatboy, but you can do slow speeds and it is perfectly comfortable, and it will just do it, and it doesn't think about it. There's no dramas, there's no problems. But it also does fun and windy and twisties, and it does fast, and I feel like it does motorways okay. And this is absolutely a bike you can put on track. So there's a lot of nakeds out there. People go, yeah, take on a track day, and you can, absolutely you can. You could take an MT09 on a track day. You could do that. You could take an MT10 on a track day. You could definitely do that, 100%. But this has a race mode. This is 100% able to go on a track. And I am a person who's becoming quite track curious, because I want to do stupid things on these bikes, but I don't want to do them on public roads. So I am strongly considering track days, and this appeals to me, and the fact that it has a race profile is really appealing. See if I can get this hill hold to engage. Well, I don't think it will, because I don't think we'll stop for long enough. Oh, that bike point is lovely. I also didn't realise until having the Harley, oh you fucking twat. I also didn't realise until having the Harley how much the weight of a bike makes a difference. So once you get used to riding a 300 kilo Harley Davidson, the Fatboy 325 kilos, the Street Glide Special 375 kilos, you don't realise how heavy they are when you're used to them until you jump on something like this, which is their M bike. Obviously it's their 1000cc bike, it's their biggest hyper naked pretty much, and at less than 200 kilos, moving this around off the bike is so easy. It's so easy, and I can't believe how easy it is and how much it makes my life easier moving it around. I took it home straight away because I was hungry, I needed lunch. I got to the driveway, mucked about with it, connected my phone to see how that worked, because I haven't mucked about that yet and I want to be able to show you guys how that sort of stuff works. And it was quite easy to connect, very easy to connect. You just have to have the BMW motorbike app. And then it started raining, and I went out there and just with my hands, I know it sounds stupid, I just walked it into the garage, and my garage is up like a hill, not a hill, but it's like a little ramp to go into the garage. The driveway is like on a slant. Getting the Fatboy up there by hand is doable, but was hard work. Getting the Street Glide up there was doable, but incredibly hard work. This thing, no dramas, in it goes. No issues at all. So having a light bike, it makes a world of difference, and you can feel how light it is when you're moving around in the saddle and trying to flick this thing around. It's very, very comfortable. It definitely will be, I think, a metric shit ton of fun on the track. I think you'd have to buy guards. Obviously, you don't come with the track guards that you need for the. I think you only need it for the brake lever. I don't think you need it for the clutch. But you could just buy the guards, take the mirrors out, put the guards on, go on track. So we're into the forest, right? We're onto this nice straight 40 section. We have cruise control. How easy is cruise control to set? You click it across to on, it's on. You get a little red amber warning saying that your cruise control is on. You get to your speed, you press the set button, you're set at 40 miles an hour. Cruise control is now on at 40 miles an hour. You push that forward, it goes up one, you pull it back, it goes down one. That's cruise control. You want to turn it off, you click it to off. How easy is that? Very easy. We just sat here at 40 miles an hour. Again, as I've said forever, cruise control is great for average speed limits. It's great for giving your hands a rest if you're getting a bit of numbness. And the bike is light and easy to use, so you can let your hands off if you wanted to. It's safe to do so. There's no one coming the other way, obviously, right at the moment. And you can turn this bike that way, and then that way, and then that way, just by using your legs and your feet, because it's so light. It's so easy to do. This thing is a dream. I love it. I actually love it. So we're going up to the Twisties, and today it's quite busy compared to normal, so we might not be able to be as spirited as I would like for the Twisty section to show you the handling, unless these cars were suddenly to turn off and be amazing and park somewhere else. But that'd be a nice place for the photos, actually. But I can't see that being anything that they're going to do for me. So we go into the sweeping right. Oh, it's just easy. It's very, very easy. The only thing I think you'd have to be careful with on this, to be honest with you, is you'd have to be careful you're not going too fast. I reckon it'd be really easy to enter a corner too quickly in this thing. At the moment, for me personally, this is a bike that adores second and third gear. You can see, if you look down at the rev range there in front of you, you can see like a greyed out section, a light grey section, a white section, and into the red section, right? Which is the bits that's just above the thick bar but below the numbers. And that's about power bands as far as I can make out. And I'm working this out on the fly, right? But it's about power bands. What the fuck? So if you're in this light grey section, you don't have a lot of power. If you're in the white section, you have your most amount of power delivery, and the red section is obviously bad. There's literally a pony in the road. This is the downside of the forest. The twisty section hasn't been very twisty today, team. There's far too many cyclists annoying me on the road, and there's too many animals about. I have done some other twisty sections. I can tell you, it handles like an utter dream. Warning ABS setting. Oh my god, I just put it in race mode. The throttle's now mad. Oh, here's another comfort feature that I didn't know bikes had. Automatic lights. Who knew? Who knew that was a thing you could have? So it would overtake a dream if I had anything in front of me. It's actually mad. It's actually terrifyingly mad. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Insane! Insane! Mad. It's mad. It's mad. M for mad. M for mental. M for mad. Oh, maybe we can show the hill start. Maybe. No, don't move. Stop moving. Is it going to do it? There you go. Hill start. No brakes. No brakes. Well, let's go. Look at that. How good's that? It goes into neutral okay. I feel like, I don't normally like to talk at red lights, but I feel like this demonstrator's been abused a little bit because the gearbox is a bit funny. And I'd imagine that's people hooning it before it was ready to be hooned. So I think what's probably happened is this hasn't been run in properly, and then people have taken it out, smashed the granny out of it, and the gearbox is now a bit funny. But then you're not going to take it. Like, I feel like BMW should probably get the demo version, do 600-mile run-in, do first service, and then go, now it's a demonstrator. Cool test team. Yeah, it's the coolest. This is for me. This is a bit of me, this. Can you guys see that? This is 100% a bit of me. Everything's busy today. How do I not know about any of this stuff? I live in the forest. It pops in race mode! It fucking pops in race mode! Can you hear it? I didn't do it then. There you go. Oh, the overrun. Oh. Well, look at the mirrors now, though. They're a lot more vibey now, right? You see that? A lot more vibey now. Look at that. Can you see the mirror? Borderline useless. But you also get this. My God. Okay. Where do we stand on this bike? It's a fucking animal. I love it. I absolutely adore this. I've been in the saddle for close to 2 hours now. My knees are fine. They're a little bit sore maybe, but I'm 2 hours in, right? It's not that bad. My wrists aren't as numb as or my hands aren't as numb as I thought they would be. My wrists are okay. I actually love the riding position. I thought I'd hate it. I thought I'd prefer the MT10's riding position. I actually love the riding position. And the reason why I love it is because I feel like I've got more control over the bike. No, of course they're not going to nod. Harley riders. I was one of them. So I feel like I've got more control because of the riding position. The engine is phenomenally good. It's aggressive. It is slightly concerning about how easy I think you could break many laws on this thing, but it is a great engine. It screams. It can be docile if you need it to be. The second you twist that throttle, it just wants to go. And if you are clever enough with your power band, you can smoothen out. You can smooth out how aggressive it is. So if you keep it in this grey area, it's not that aggressive. If you put it in that white area, it's very aggressive. So, you know, as long as you're riding it sensibly and being aware of what gear you're in and what you're doing, I think it's actually great. Handling is incredible. The kit you get on it is pretty good, but it kind of wants to be for 20 grand, I expect. And then I think the other thing for me as well is the looks and the aesthetics. It's stunning to look at. So comfort, that's not the highest, but I'm comfortable enough. Maybe a 7 out of 10 for this one. I was expecting it to be like a 5. You are probably going to need more brakes on this one than you would an MT10. You definitely will need more brakes on it than you would, say, for example, a Harley. Power performance drivetrain, 9 to 10. This thing is incredible. I love it. It's responsive. The only thing I would say is you're going to struggle to use everything on UK roads. Of course you are. That goes without saying. I don't feel like that should be marked down for it though, because the drivetrain is massively impressive. Kit and equipment is a good 8, 9 out of 10. You get a lot of kit and equipment. Fit and finish seems decent. Aesthetics and looks, I think it's one of my favourites. I think it's stunning. Value for money, maybe a 7 to an 8. I think all round you're going to give this bike an 8 to a 9. And I actually kind of really want to go 9 to a 10 for personal preference. The handling is so good. It's obviously got a whole resale value. I adore it. I don't have words. This is objectively a solid 8 out of 10 bike. Subjectively for me, it's close to a 9, 10 out of 10 bike. And that's just me being honest. I think this might be my favourite thing that I've ridden so far. It's great. It's going to be a conversation starter at bike meets as well, I reckon, potentially. The quick shift is beautifully smooth. Like, there's not much bad, I have to say. The mirrors are a bit shit. I need to look on forums to see if there's a way you can solve this, because a couple of extra bar end weights might calm the vibes down, and then it just doesn't have a downside for me. Maybe adjustable rear sets would mean that I can like lower that leg position slightly and stretch my knees out a little bit more for a little bit more comfort. But I'm not whinging. I'm not whinging. I like where my feet are at the moment. And I can scoop myself back on the chair and improve that angle. I've got a lot of room to move about on the chair. The seat's a bit firm. The suspension's incredible. The seat's a bit firm. Maybe a softer seat, perhaps. I don't know. I don't know if I really care. I just love it. I could spend weeks on this thing and not get bored, I think. It's so good. I hope you've enjoyed this anyway. I hope you've enjoyed the first ride review of the BMW M1000R. I was expecting to be terrified of it, not be that comfortable. I think it's amazing. I want one. It's so good. If you guys have enjoyed it, then please make sure you hit that like button, and more importantly, if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. We gained a load from the last few videos, so thank you so much to everybody who's done that and hit those buttons for us. You're amazing human beings. I appreciate you. I hope you have enjoyed the content. We've got more coming. We've got the XSR 900 coming up next from Yamaha, so stay tuned for that one. Share it with your friends. We're trying to get to 500 subs on the channel as the first little milestone. You people are all amazingly incredible. Hopefully the weather's a bit nicer for you whatever day you're watching this and you're able to get out on your bike. If you do, please make sure you don't lose your license on a stupid bike. I'm going to go have some more fun before I take this back to Owen. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Something I realised I haven't talked about on the review at all, which is interesting, is the brakes. Compared to Yamaha, these are night and day. The brakes on this is so good. If you grab a handful of the front, the brakes are so good compared to the MT9 and the MT10. So I think now I finally realise what people are talking about when they say that the Yamaha's brakes aren't good and they're nowhere near as good as their competitors, because these, fucking hell, yeah, these are very good. So, you know, I'll insert this in the video somewhere. I just realised I haven't talked about it. Let's get rid of that annoying whistle. Just realised I haven't talked about brakes. Brakes are fucking exceptional. I think I didn't talk about it because they're just so good, they just perform. But hey, here I am taking it back to Alton. Let's get on with the video.